Hey, what's up, guys? So today, coming at you with another video. But today is going to be a deep topic, right? I want you to really listen to the words that I'm about to read. It's going to be a little long just because this passage is very long, but I'm going to read it as fast and concisely as I can. But it talks about the warrior, and it talks about the warrior in our society and why it's important to acknowledge the warrior within all of us. So it says we live in a time when people are generally uncomfortable with the warrior form of masculine energy, and for some good reason, women especially are uncomfortable with it because they have often been the most direct victims of its shadow form. Around the planet, warfare in our country has reached such monstrous and pervasive proportions that aggressive energy itself looked upon with deep suspicion and fear. This is the age of the West of the soft masculine, and is a time when radical feminists raise loud and hostile voices against the warrior energy. And the liberal church's committees are removing such warlike hymns to honor Christian soldiers and the battle hymn republic from the hymnals. What is interesting to notice, however, is that those who would cut off masculine aggressiveness at its root in their zeal themselves fall into the power of this archetype. We can't just vote the warrior out. Like all archetypes, it lives in spite of our conscious attitudes towards it. And like all repressed archetypes, it goes underground. Eventually, it resurfaces in the form of emotional and physical violence, like a volcano that has laid dormant for centuries with the pressure gradually building up in the magma chamber. If the warrior is an instinctual energy from then there, it is here to stay, and it pays to face it. Jane, okay, so that's pretty good. That's enough right there. So, the warrior energy is a very powerful and pervasive energy. It's within all of us. It's in women too, right? But as men, as strong men, we have to harness that warrior within us, right? In very constructive ways. We have to protect our families. We have to be strong for our families. We have to be very powerful for our families, right? Even if you work like a tech job all day, which is the field that I'm going into, obviously to make more money, you want to still cultivate that warrior, whether it's working out or, going to the gun range and shooting, whatever you want to do. Do some martial arts, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you do it safely and effectively. Now, he talks about in here where it was uncomfortable for the warrior from a masculine energy, and for good reason, because women have been on the other side of that, and that's very true. Domestic violence is up by a huge percentage in America today. So, unfortunately, what the feminists and a lot of these different radical groups did is they took the masculine and said, this is the issue, this is the problem, this is toxic masculinity. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There's only masculinity. There's weak masculinity, right? Where guys hit women and they do all these different things and they're very aggressive and, all that other stuff. But it's just masculinity. Masculinity is supposed to be strong. You're supposed to protect your woman. You're supposed to be powerful. You're supposed to be, all these different things. And so, speak up when you need to speak up. Do what you need to do. Be strong when you need to be strong. Another thing that he says in here is when you cut off masculine aggressiveness at its root, it only comes back more stronger, right? So you can't get rid of this archetype, the warrior, right? The warrior is with all of us. We've been fighting for thousands of years, whether it's the Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians. The Egyptians were a peaceful tribe. No one can get to them for probably thousands of years until the Hesips, I think I said that right, came and conquered their land, and then they came back and they fought, and they actually, what did they do? They fought back against them eventually, right? Because you got to remember, Egypt was around for 4,000 years, right? America won't last that long. I'm sorry, it won't, right? So um but bottom line is, you know, the biggest thing is that, understanding the warrior masculine and being able to harness it correctly in your life. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So also too, um, you know, as the West tries to feminize men more, you're going to see more, I guess, toxic masculinity come up because you're trying to repress that masculinity. So if you're trying to repress that masculinity, then it's going to come out in different ways. You're going to see more domestic violence. You're going to see more violence. You're going to see more crime, all these different things because you're trying to change the masculine. You're trying to get rid of it. So it's actually a counterintuitive to what you're doing. A lot of them don't realize that. So, um, yeah, so that's something that can be an issue. So be strong, men. Be strong, men. Don't give up. Keep going. The the world may not appreciate you, but you will be appreciated one day. Just protect your tribe, protect your family, protect everybody. All right, guys, that's all that I have. Done.